do you feel like you're doing everything right, but the scales won't budge? It's probably one of the, it's definitely can be a problem, but you can sort it out, definitely, for sure, but you've got to be on top of everything. But with women and hormonal shifts, women going through menopause, it's inevitable, really, because what actually is happening is you've got low estrogen, and that actually causes the fat distribution a little bit differently, and it's around the belly, unfortunately. So and then also your metabolism's slower as you age as well in menopause. But the beauty of it, right, is just not to look on the look at your kilos too much. You've got to actually really start to look at the different ways of measuring. Okay, so and what we call the non-scale victories. All right, so the non-scale victories are the buckle belts going down. You feel better. Pants are fitting better. You know, all that sort of thing. So they're like a non-scale victory. Also, you got to look at another non-scale victory is improving your digestion. Your digestion's improving. Your inflammation is going down. But really, if you want to feel like the scales aren't moving, what you need to do is actually measure on different levels as well. You need to get it like what's called an impedance scale. So you need to look at body fat and muscle mass and look at the screenshot for the week, a snapshot of the week. That's what I do with my clients. They come in, see me. We talk about body fat, muscle mass, where that's going, making sure that's trending in the right direction, because ideally, and more than 99.9% of the time, body fat's going down each week. Muscle mass is stabilizing out or going up. If it's not, that means we need to have more protein. And then we also do measurements as well, chest, waist, hips measurements, making sure they're going down. And then also the visceral fat, that's going down. That's the visceral fat is the one around your heart and lungs. So you need to get a set of impedance scales that are going to measure that. Also, photos and videos are really good as well to measure on that level, so that you've got to measure on different levels. And because if you're not measuring, you're second guessing, and then that can really kind of put you in a real negative headspace. So it is really, really important to be measuring on all these levels. But in addition to that, like what actually happens when you're, aging and when you're in menopause as well, your cortisol can increase, and stress has an effect on, because you could be eating all the right things, but if you're stressed out your mind, or not stressed out of your mind, but a lot going on in your life, there's a lot of, just a lot of stuff going on in your life that can raise cortisol as well. And then, that, what that does, it produces cravings, and then it's harder to eat right also, but also, if you're not sleeping well as well, it has this kind of knock-on effect. So, having a lot on your plate and having a lot of stress and not sleeping well, and you could be eating all the right things, but if these things aren't corrected, then, the scale isn't going to move as well. So, but my tip really is just to really just measure on different levels and not just the kilos, because if you're just looking at the kilos, it can be a little bit depressing, So, so that's my tip for that. So, but yeah, look, and even if you're not doing the right things, you're getting healthier every single day. Every day you're working towards your health, and that's the most important thing. The scales aren't the most important thing. The most important part is you are looking after your health every single day. And if you have a bad day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't equal one bad day doesn't equal a bad year either. So it's just a process. Okay. So, but hey, it's great catching up with you today, and we will see you next week for Wednesday Wellness.